Okay, so now back to the perfect betting game, a preview, German Bundesliga, match day 27, about to start tonight, Friday 29th of March. And it is, also the time you can see here, 15:07 on Friday, March 29th, 2019. So no games played yet, no games started yet. And I entered as usual the best prices, market's best prices, which you can see here. This is the odds comparison site I'm using right now for this video series, or I changed it to this video series. Maybe I can even make this a bit bigger. But anyway, the important thing is I enter this into my common file, trying to shape that, you can see everything. So as usual, I get here the list of the games. Those are the ones to be played this weekend. Here are my true prices, as I call them. They are compiled to 100%, which is, those are the prices as if they were market prices, but they are true prices, not market prices. Those are the reciprocals of that. You can see here, this is 1 divided by C4. You can see, so this is the reciprocal of these, and all the 3 reciprocals added up land on 100%, exactly as this is the sum of these 3 probabilities. So it is actually the basis that I'm using is distribute the 100% of the possible outcomes on 1x2, and then turn these probabilities you worked out by then making the reciprocal of these. And so this is the way I approach it. So it's not a coincidence that those chances are exactly 100%, because I'm starting from here. Although here it looks as if those were the values entered. But I've done this step first to compile the 100%. So anyone that wants to take part in the perfect betting game, he wants to set up for himself, he has to do this in the first place. Distribute the 100% for the possible outcomes 1x2. As I do not have any betting partners anymore, I did that sometime back in the 90s. Some people from betting market, professional gamblers, that did understand the concept and were ready to bet with me like that. But it was just rarely the case, but sometimes it happened. Anyway, I don't have a real partner, so I take the bet market and I take the best prices. Those are entered from this oddsportal.com. You can see the page name here, oddsportal.com. Then you click on Germany, Bundesliga, and so on, and you get this displayed. And I enter those, so 239. If there are changes, those are adjustments made to these prices. I'm not re-entering them every 5 minutes, so all of them seem to undergo some changes. I enter them at some point, and then take this. Those are not shaped to 100%, which is not a problem really, but it's close to 100% because betting market does not care to make those prices fit into this concept to 100%. They just pay prices and see what's happened. If I turn those true prices into probabilities the way I've done it with my own prices, then I land on 103.91%. And for this 103.79. So to false market to go with me into the perfect betting game, I have to shape these to 100%. This is what happened here. So the 239 that really are paid market, now it's 2.40, turn into 2.48 just to make it 100%. And I've done that with every single chance by just multiplying this with the reciprocal of this. I multiply every single value, and as you see here, it works out perfectly well, as all those chances are still the sum of this, and in the end it is going to be 100%. This is what happened. And now we are ready, because I got someone else playing with me this kind of game, which is in general said it is the bet market. It is the bet market that I bet against with a perfect betting game. Here you see the probabilities. If there are any differences, very welcome, because we can't all have the same evaluation, because this is not a given. It's not something you can work out like the chance on a roulette the table or something like that, roulette spin. Or so, or if you roll a dice, maybe you would say that is 1 out of 6 or something like that. And there are no given approaches to work out these probabilities. That's why we actually try to compare and find out who's better. So any difference occurring here is not only welcome, it is forced, it will always occur. And there's no one in the world who would say that is 21.35%, or maybe someone would by his own calculation, but it's simply what I tell bet market what it actually thinks the chances are for Hanover to win this game, whereby no one ever stated it is 21.35%. I know this. It is something I work out from all those figures here, and my own figures, they are also not, it's an algorithm that's running, and it's trying to compile the prices or the chances to its best knowledge and understanding. That's what I told the computer to do. That's what it's doing for 30 years now, and that's what I rely on when going into gambling, into betting on those games. Anyway, it is just one league, and it's just a couple of games that we are comparing. So, and it's just also some random results in the end, because this is what we try to work out in the review, who was really right in the evaluation, and still there will be a result in the game which may not reflect fairly how the ongoings on the pitch, because sometimes the better team loses, sometimes the better team can't win and just draw, sometimes the better team does win and still may be lucky to this amount. You need still luck, even if you are better. Because being lucky means also avoid the bad luck. Then you're already lucky, because bad luck can also happen to you. Anyway, so this is now how I work out the bet size we have here, whereby the bet size itself does not really matter, as it is we both bet against each other on the true prices. The way it's compiled is by adding up the probabilities, my probability plus your probability, times a basic amount of money you wish to, well, distribute. It's not really, I'm not betting 125 euro, but I'm betting 825 euro on this chance, while the other one bets 825 euro on this chance. And the point behind it, or why this algorithm is right, is simply because the more I think, the higher the bigger, the higher I think this probability is, the more I bet on this chance, and also I force the other one to bet on this chance. And by this payout, the possible payout, the bigger the chance is, the lower this price will be. So the bigger the chance, the lower the price, the less I have to pay out. So if I'm right about a higher probability, I have to return less to him than he has to return to me on this same amount of money. We're betting on this chance against each other. Anyway, so this is what happens then and what we have to pay out, because there's not a big difference between 2.36, what I say, and 2.48, bet market says. There's not a big difference in what can happen in the payout. There are some bigger swings, there are some smaller ones. We more or less agree here, which you can witness here as well. 3.1, 3.21, 3.85, 3.63. No big margins, so no huge swings here in the payout. Anyway, so now I can only argue a little bit about why I would take these chances or why I would rely on these. Here, actually, I would actually even favor Leverkusen a bit at the betting market. It currently is. We should just consider it a small deviation that happens. So now I have to take Hoffenheim, who had been doing okay this season. They played well. They didn't win the points. They had far too many draws. In many games they were superior, while Leverkusen, for example, they also outclassed Werder Bremen last week. Didn't win the game 1-3, which also happens. I was right in that one in the sense of the result. I wasn't right in the sense of how the game actually went, in the distribution of the statistics they had produced. Anyway, in Bayern I have to take Freiburg, but I can only win a lot and lose very little. So this is the common thing that happens. I consider it Freiburg more or less to be able to win 1 out of 10 games, while bet market would say they only win 1 out of 12. I'm happy with that. I can't lose a lot. I only can win quite some money. And so you see here, I have to lose this 20 times or this 10 times. And in the meantime, just win once with a Freiburg prediction. And if market is right, of course, it's picking up enough money on these chances to be able to pay out if this happens in 1 out of 12 cases, what they would say. Anyway, I'm happy with that. I'm used to that. It happens here or there, especially in Freiburg. Bayern lost some games. So it's fine. In Düsseldorf-Gladbach, I'm very neutral. I said that already. I'm just would say, well, the draw is a bit less likely than market said. It's a common thing. We went through that. It's not that meaningful. I hope for the game not to be a draw, because there is this small difference between 385 and 363, or turn it into probabilities. I say 26%, market says 27.5. Who's right? We don't know. If one of them, well, something is going to happen and we will find out. The quality of my predictions you will only notice in the very long run, and not within a season. I'm still somehow, well, not excited, but I'm looking forward. Well, let's see what's going to happen in this season, and if I'm losing, as is the case right now, I may well do it next season again. Also, if I'm winning, just we will wait and see. And Nuremberg, a little bit on Nuremberg, I wouldn't say so. I mean, this is a matter of, it is kind of a last exit, last chance for them. They need a win here, and maybe, well, yeah, this may keep their chances alive or revive their chances, whatever it is. It's, I would say myself, it didn't appear Nuremberg are good enough for this league, and also with all this management stuff, sacking coaches and all this silly crap, and I can't see that working. Although their approach right now is pretty okay. I mean, this intermediate coach, interims coach, I don't know what it's called. He is saying, well, let's try to win a game also. I mean, this is like putting up with, we're not gonna stay in this division. But still, they can, of course, win the game. Also, in case it would happen, which is, of course, possible, they will start calculating again. Because it's not, well, I don't show the table here, but it will be like 6 points to Augsburg after win. Well, I'm not sure. Anyway, which is still something you can cover within the remainder of the games. 6 after that, or is it 7? No, 27. No, it's 27, 28. I have to do that with my finger. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. It's 8 to go. After it's 7 to go. Well, that's very easy. If 27 are played, take the difference to 34. It's 7, so it's 7 games to go. I know how to do that, but sometimes I use my fingers too. Okay, anyway, Werder, I'm happily gonna take Werder. It's not a massive margin, as you see here. Well, I would say the evaluations are more or less on the same level. Still, we have some, well, something is going to happen. Even if you have small differences, you will find some payouts, and it may go my way, or the market's way, or just be neutral. Anyway, I will happily take Werder Bremen. They had been pretty good, and I like the play, although they were lucky in Leverkusen, but still you would say, well, if you're able to score these 3 goals, Kruse with the third one, very beautiful goal. But anyway, they did score these goals, so maybe, yeah, I like it. Anyway, it was a worse game they played in this case. Still won it, so you can't really complain about them. While Mainz, I would say they were a bit weaker. I mean, I liked them for a while. Recently, not so convincing to me. In Dortmund, Wolfsburg, I have to take Wolfsburg now, which I actually didn't want to. I would like to rather support Dortmund in this case because they improved a lot while Wolfsburg had just been lucky. But I can't do much. I mean, after I compiled my prices, I wouldn't say, oh, market says it is, what is it? I say it's 63%. Now I see, oh, market says 64. Now I adjust my price. Oh, I make it 65% just to make sure I'm on Dortmund's side. I'm not going to do that. Compare my prices, see the comparison, see what comes out. Okay, I have to take Wolfsburg now, more or less, or hope against the draw. This is what I can say. But I'm happy with my evaluations no matter what. Wolfsburg also had some huge surprises, had been doing okay, although their results are better than their efforts, which I would easily confirm. But in Dortmund also still have far too good results. I mean, they are still a level on points with Bayern, which is quite kind of lucky for them. Anyway, I'm gonna take Wolfsburg without really intending to do so. Just happens by those figures. Leipzig against Hertha, I will happily take Hertha. I have to. I mean, they had been playing also in the game against Dortmund, although they were outclassed. But this was this was such an excellent performance by Dortmund, so I wouldn't complain about Hertha. Just praise Dortmund more or less. That's what happened. Leipzig, very good. This is fine. It still is kind of a derby. I mean, it's Hertha fans surely gonna travel there. So, and they will support their team if you wish so. Although you could say this kind of support, they might not even fancy. Because sometimes this is some aggression too, or something like that. Anyway, supporters are going there. So, anyway, it doesn't matter these days this much, the derby character. Still, it is a bit on which would still favor slightly the away side. I'm happy with that. Leipzig may well win the game. I trust Hertha. In this case, draw or away win is fine. In Hannover Schalke, I have to take Hannover. It's not because I like Hannover. I mean, Hannover, I wouldn't say are better than Nürnberg, more reliable. It is just, well, in some sense, yeah, they are better. What would I say? I mean, recent performances may be a bit more resilient, a bit more, yeah. But it's. I'm not going with Hannover. I'm going against Schalke, if you want. So this is just silly, and there's all this. Drama Tedesco, and I can't stand this at all. And I would never trust this concept that it's gonna work. Now, at long last, they sacked the coach. Now it's gonna be no. I can never consider this good news for the club for anything. I mean, it's just rubbish. But they are no good. They didn't play any good games all season, which they haven't done last season as well. when I was always saying that, well, they are the luck champions, they are not vice champions. That's all. I mean, they won the second place without ever actually performing better than average. But they were all praying, Schalke, this is Tedesco, and so on. And they were just everything perfect. And now, after they dropped down the table, now they all say, yeah, they didn't play well last season. You could have seen that, and so on. So why would they do that? I mean, yeah, it's just silly rubbish they are saying. But they are not playing well. That's all I'm saying. And why? I mean, Hannover. It's very comparable to this game because this is Schalke are also within reach. 23 points, 25. I think here it's a bigger gap. But after the game I was talking about, here it is just, well, it's 8 points maybe. With a win, it's 5. But it's also narrow the gap to Stuttgart. And with 5 points behind this team after a win, they would still think, ooh. Now I'm going to have a look because it annoys me as well that I do not quite know the table right now. I may know the points 15, 14. No, it's 13, 14, and 23. This I knew. I wasn't sure about this 14, 15, and 23, and Augsburg 25. So Nuremberg with a win 16 compared to these 25, which is still far too big a gap. Still, they wouldn't come closer to Stuttgart, who also have a difficult game, which is after their game, so they could say, well, if we get 16 points, and they are on 20, they didn't play yet, so we are happy we can, and also Hanover, similar to that. And still, with a win, Hanover would make it 6 points to Schalke, which is then kind of within reach. I mean, 6 points, you would say, well, another win and 7 games to go. Well, going back to this here, or what do I do? Okay, so I'm not going with Hanover. I'm going against Schalke. I mean, this Thomas Doll and so on. So it's the very similar story with compared to the one with Schalke. So they all sacked their coaches. So I don't want to have any of them. Still, they are going to play football. Anyway, in Frankfurt, Stuttgart, I'm as neutral as can be. Just a bit against the draw, so I'm happy with that. I do not like Stuttgart at all, and I haven't done this all season. With the early settings already when I was far away from market, saying Stuttgart are no really good, and I was pretty right about that. But Frankfurt also, they are perfect. I mean, this looks just great the way they play also in EuroLeague and so on, and score their goals. Still, the efforts are not quite well. The stats they are producing are not really confirming they are this much better than others. Yeah, just a bit better than average, say the figures. So anyway, I don't want either of them. It's just what comes out with the figures, so I'm pretty neutral on that one. So that's it for now. I'm gonna check that again, or yeah, be back on Monday when we check the results and see what's gonna happen. I wouldn't say there are such major deviations. I mean, Freiburg would just be a miracle. Wolfsburg win would also be kind of a miracle. Hertha winning here. Otherwise, yeah. See, well, I would once again say that the major issue is here. Well, am I right about the draws, or is market right about the draws? What I would say is market doesn't really care about the draws. So at least I can show now, as a last thing, I can show now on the stats more or less if I was right about the draws. And I wasn't quite, because I would predicted more or less a chance of 23.33% for draws, and there had been 24.35. I think it happened the last 1 or 2 match days when there were more draws. Kind of, it's just 1% difference. Still not a lot, but if it's occurring too often, then I'm still well. I'm not perfect, at least. I'm not far away, but I'm also not perfect. So I could also say, well, market does have some reason to say their draw prices are fine. Anyway, as I lost so far, market can say that in any respect. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Comment, like, share, subscribe. I'm mixing up the order again. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.